Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of that show that will not be named. It is currently 12:11 at night, and it has been 11 minutes since the ending of American Horror Story, episode 2 of Apocalypse, and it was fantastic. Just like the last episode, it continues with the people in the bunker. And this episode, it was funny. I actually thought that they were going to pull all the rules and everything. I thought that they were going to have this sort of mundane bunker atmosphere lingering for a while. But they seem to be kicking that out the door, right away. Right off the bat. They're just like, no, we're changing things up majorly. So Langdon has made his way to the place to determine who's coming with him and who's not. And two of the characters figured out, hey, the no sex thing turns out was just a rule by Elmira Gulch, because I still don't know that Sarah Paulson character. And something major happened in this episode, which sent me into a frenzy when Kathy Bates' character got shot. Spoilers, she gets shot in the second episode, and she's wandering around everything, and she looks underneath her cloth, and she's a fucking android. Murphy, where do you come up with this shit? That is excellent. That is so cool. And now androids, or human robots, cyborgs, whatever the fuck, are now canon in American Horror Story, and I think that is the greatest thing in the universe. I think that is the coolest shit ever. That was the whole highlight of the whole episode. Not them figuring out that sex is allowed. Not this new Evan Peters gay character finding out, oh hey, there's this Gimp Ghost. Well, by the way, the Gimp Ghost is back. That is, of course, probably most likely Tate from Murder House. That I felt was kind of interesting when the Gimp Ghost fucked Tate, Evan Peters' new guy, and in my head the whole time the only thing that was going off was it's Evan Peters fucking Evan Peters, and then he tries to take this during their second encounter, he tries to take the mask off, and it's like no, and I'm like okay, yeah, I see what's going on, and I thought that was just super interesting when they, when he's like, he said, I think he says something to the effect of nobody fucks me or some shit like that. And while the Gimp's laying down, he takes the knife or the scissors or whatever and just stabs it to death. And then looks over and Langdon's in the doorway. And then when he turns back, it's his Nana. And that confused me a little. Is he going crazy? The whole time, every time I watch an episode now, I'm referring back, I'm texting with my girlfriend, so we're just throwing back theories all through the episode. Because I can't not talk to somebody while watching this show. Every second it's like, what do you think's going to happen next week? What's he going to do? Oh, what's their role? And we send snaps back and forth. And when that happened, I just thought that was this. I like Evan Peters' characters. I don't think there has ever been an Evan Peters character in the show that I did not like. Every character he plays, in my opinion, is banger. He even when he was playing March in Hotel, that was like he showed up and I thought, okay, Pinot Noir, Walt Disney. I'm not gonna like it. It's gonna be too far-fetched. And then by the end of the series, I'm like, wow, he made that really believable. And the same thing with this one. Not just the fact that he's playing a gay guy, which is I think what he's really good at it. It's weird. You ever see people mention the passion behind a character? You could tell when an actor's really getting into a role, or if they're just just acting it. He's believable. He's very believable in his roles and the way that he acts. But that was super interesting. And of course, when Kathy Bates got shot, and turns out maybe she's not an android, maybe she's just a cyborg, but she had a worried expression on her face, which leads me to believe she's definitely going to die. Either that or they're going to put her on a conveyor belt or some shit and boot her back a couple episodes down this season. But I saw the whatchamacallit. I stuck around. I've started watching the show at 11 o'clock, not 10 o'clock, because I'm not sure if it's just an episode 1 thing, but I wanted to check out and see the next week on an all new episode of American Horror Story, yada yada. I just wanted to stick around and make sure that they were still doing that, because I can't call back for like few seasons ago. Like when I started watching American Horror Story, seasons 1 through 3, I think they were on season 4 by the time I finally got around to watching the show. So I binge watched 1 through 3 on Netflix, and then the rest of it I started actually sitting down at night and watching. What did I watch? I watched all of Hotel, all of Cult. I watched like maybe the first 4 episodes of Roanoke, and then I just watched the rest on demand. So I think I have files. I don't know what I have. But like in the last few times I haven't been super consistent with keeping up with the episodes and everything. I would much prefer to just binge watch it all in one foul swoop. But this season definitely has me coming back for way more. I will wait out every Wednesday to see this. I will schedule my time to see this every single week, because this is very interesting. I'm getting getting a really good vibe off of this season. It was funny when Evan Peterson's Nana in this episode, because I can't remember her name. I just got nicknames for everybody. It's like, she's been called Nana the most. That's her name, Nana. When she's like, oh, and so said that I was going to live forever, so like that. And I had this moment of when she was when Evan Peters and her were having like a heart-to-heart. Not even a heart-to-heart, they're just like being vicious to one another. And he's like, I just wanted you to love me. And then she's like, sorry dear, it's just not in my nature, so whatever the fuck. And then she's like feeling his face, and she goes like that. I know she had like a long silver thing, and I'm like, a split second, like a part of my brain was like, is she a vampire? Because I remember another vampire from this show having one of those, and I thought it was just like a quick flash of the eye. I thought it was one of those knife things that the Countess had from Hotel, but I don't think that's anything really, because they killed her off like that, or apparently killed her off. I don't know. When they do things quickly in this show, when Ryan Murphy seems to do things just like suddenly, I don't believe it too much. It doesn't seem all that plausible. It doesn't seem not plausible. Is that even the word? It just doesn't seem all that likely, because it happens so sudden. So, it could just be somebody who remembers something differently. I mean, how many times were Dot and whatever the hell the other sister's name was, the twin-headed sister from Freak Show, how many times were they murdered or something or other in like a flash to the future, only for you to figure out that never happened, that it was all just like fantasy, and it's like a possible future, but it never happened. When Doc gets poisoned by or one of them gets poisoned by the cupcake or some shit, and then he ends up cutting off their heads, and then he displays them in the thing, like, that ended up never happening. So what's to say that Evan Peters stabbing his Nana to death even happened, especially in the circumstance that it happened? I don't know. It just seems very, very dreamlike, very ethereal, which I don't like to make too many assumptions this soon into the series, and B, with this much evidence, that being no real evidence at all to any one particular theory being true. I mean, once again, the whole Kathy Bates machine thing really fucking threw me for a loop. I'll show you. This is the an actual representation of how I felt at that moment when Kathy Bates got shot, and she's like, oh shit, robot pieces, circuits breaking, I'm worried. This is my exact response was. exactly that. This episode just had my fucking nuts jump into my throat area region. My stomach was turning in this episode. I'm like, oh my god, this is so good. And then when they go to Elmira Gulch, or Sarah Paulson's character, and they're like, we know your rules are bullshit. We saw on Langdon's computer. And I'm like, stick it to the man, see what happens. And as I figured, they're like, oh, okay, well, in my eyes, for the time being, you broke the rules, so death for both of you. And when they got pulled away, I'm like, it can't go down like this. So Pretty Boy, of course, summons inner strength and fucking shoots one guy, shoots Kathy Bates, and I think they're gonna be fine. Honestly, I think they're either gonna be taken away, or they're gonna be maybe put off to the side, maybe imprisoned. Is there a prison at all in that bunker, do you think? Maybe they'll just like throw them in prison. And I was actually gonna go back, and you know what I'm gonna do? Actually, I'm gonna do it right here on camera. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna see if I can find the teaser, American Horror Story teaser, episode 2. What was the one? The morning after. Nope. Trying to find the teaser for episode 3, because it showed like a whole room of people. Yeah, the third promo. Because it showed a whole room of people. And I was actually going to freeze frame it at that point and see who was standing in the room. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to up the screen here. Okay, well, next episode, there's a bunch of servants and shit standing in the back. There's Evan Peters. Okay, well, everyone seems to be here. Evan Peters is there. His Nana ain't, so there's something. There's Coco, Skinny Oprah Winfrey, Pretty Boy and the Black Girl, they're there. And is that Langdon? That's either Langdon or the other black guy. Oh, not other black guy, other gay guy. Wasn't there another gay guy in this bunker with them? Yeah, the black gay guy. I haven't seen, you haven't seen shit of him since the dinner scene, so I actually, for a few minutes, actually forgot he existed. And then a bunch of the servants in the back, and Elmira Gulch shitting in. Is that a... Seems to be a chair or some shit. I don't know. Let's go back. Let's freeze frame it. Freeze for things. You have Coco's assistant screaming that, what's his name, touched her. She's like, get off of me! Evan Peters is lying on the floor again. Why do I have a feeling that Coco's assistant girl, because she's a servant now or whatever inside the place, I have this feeling like she's gonna like bob for apples and then Langdon's just gonna murder her. I don't know. That's the way that it seems like they're setting it up in the episode 3 promo, but I don't actually think that's what's going to happen. Because like they like to do, they're gonna make some things look like they're gonna happen, and then the actual episode comes, and I just think it's gonna be weird how they're gonna do the whole, because Kathy Bates is standing in the same room as the guy that just shot her in this episode 2. So I'm like, no one's gonna question like, yo, how are you? He's not gonna be like, well, A, they're gonna let the two of them back into the vault, no questions asked. You just ordered the two of them to be murdered. He broke out of his, he broke out, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, here, come back in with everybody. Doesn't seem to make much sense. Also, how is she still alive? Because she looked rather worried. When I shot her, I was just expecting her to die, and when she started walking away, I'm like, okay, so she's going to go over to Elmira Gulch and just be like, they're escaping, oh ho ho. I think she's actually gonna, I think she's actually going to, Maybe she has, I don't know, a repair station or some shit. I mean, she's a freaking android or a robot or a cyborg even. Really curious to see what they do with that. She says, because she's very army oriented. This is Kathy Bates' character. She seems like she's extremely army oriented, and can't speak tonight. And she said her father was a killer, so it's in like her blood, it's in her DNA or whatever. And that leads me to believe, like, so there's a dude building robots. So there's more robots. There has to be. Because I picked that up from episode 1. And comparing it to this, I'm like, there's either she's a human with cyborg enhancements and her father was a son of a bitch. Or she was created by an evil killing son of a bitch. And maybe it was kind of like a Dragon Ball Z Dr. Gero thing, where like he took humans and turned them into androids. I don't know. Basically comparing this the Dragon Ball Z universe with the American Horror Story universe, which I'm sure isn't connected in any way. But yeah, this episode, episode 2 of Apocalypse, very interesting. This has got me interested. I may just cover this whole damn season. Now that probably won't happen. I'll probably get bored somewhere around episode 5. But tell me what you think in the comments section below. What did you think about the big reveal tonight? I really don't know what to say. I'm just totally in shock. This episode really drew me in. And if Ryan Murphy says that, hey, wait till episode 5, that's where the real fucking kicker happens, I will be more than happy to wait around until then. Totally drawn in this season. This season kicks the shit. I just feel this show gets better and better and better. Not with Roanoke, though. Roanoke was shit. Better and better as the show goes on. They're fucking killing it with these new seasons. But we'll wait to see what else is in store, and I have no doubt it's going to be awesome. So, thank you for joining me. I will see you next time.